on the cusp of that 32, 33, 34. And your thoughts on that look ahead to September and into the playoffs?
Well, I agree. I totally agree. The window is closing. Everybody knows that. They are. They're a team that has either gets to the World Series or wins the World Series real soon, or they're going to have to break them up. But that's easier said than done because there are so many long-term contracts involved right now.
Right.
They have a lot of problems going forward with that, and it's totally understandable why they did it. But if you don't catch that lightning in a bottle pretty soon, I don't know. I don't know what I really can't say anything other than that, except that I totally agree with you. Did you want to let those guys go? No. I mean, Schwarber, there was criticism about him too at one point, and he's been great this year. Although he's been sick the last 3 days, and they've been very, they haven't said much about that. Why he hasn't been able to play the last 3 days after being red hot on that weekend in Pittsburgh, and then comes home and he's sick and he can't play for 3 days. And that was a huge bat to take out of the lineup because he hits left-handed pitching. So they really look. The Braves are kind of throwing up some numbers right now that are going to be tough to deal with. So right now, this team has to just get into some kind of an area where they think of a wild card. They think about one in the division, but it's unlikely.
Roger?
Yeah, I think, when I saw the standings for the wild card, they've really got to turn it around to get into those three slots. In my opinion, I do. I read a lot about the prospects. I just read about one young man that I guess going to be at Lakewood very shortly, and maybe he'll be in Double-A and even possibly Triple-A, before the end of the season. And are there other prospects, Chris, that we can, as Phillies fans, look at the future that it will be bright in the years to come with these young prospects, do you think?
Well, they have some guys they like, Roger, but you know me. I'm a baseball guy. I'm never going to talk about prospects because they're suspects. Right. Until they get to the major leagues is so different than any level of minor league baseball, unless you're just, one of those guys that just is going to stand out and just jump to like Skeens. I mean, you knew right away he was going to be a big league pitcher quick. They have some guys they like, but I don't know that there's a player down there that I could think of that you could say, yeah, there's an impact player coming right now this year to help. The kid got hurt with a bad back in spring training this year, who they really liked a lot, and thought that he could be a guy that could come up and maybe come up by midseason and push some people. But he has started some baseball-related activities now for the first time. And as Don Mattingly said the other day, baseball-related activities, and he left it at that. So what does that mean? You don't want to see a 21-year-old with a bad back.
Wheels, the one thing I really have enjoyed in the short time that Don Manning, I heard him a lot of times when he was down in Washington and other places, but since he's been with the Phillies, the other night there were a lot of criticism about not moving runners. I think it was maybe it was the catcher. I think the catcher was the 10th inning, and he didn't have anybody bunting over, move a runner from second to third, try to score a run to win it at home. And after the game, I thought it was everybody commented about what's going on. And Mattingly said very calmly, which I've heard a lot of people say it, but they've heard seldom say it, in a post-game press conference. He said, I don't put players in a position where they can't execute.
Right. And the great big league player that he was, he understands that. And a lot of managers understand that. And they try to cover up the things about today's game is these guys don't bunt.
Right.
It's a different game than we grew up with. And if you think it's going to go back to the other way, a bunt is an out now as far as they're concerned with the analytics. And